there, Bronco fans. For the first time in 7 weeks, we meet before you after a loss, an embarrassing loss for the Denver Broncos. Not a real surprise, Chris, but not quite what we were hoping, especially after that first quarter. Tell me a little bit about what you saw the first quarter. Did you get a little excited, and then we all saw what happened?
Well, they go into the break after the first quarter, and they're showing the stats, and you're already 200-plus yards. I'm sitting there thinking, they're going to have 800 total yards in this game. This is going to be unbelievable. And then, sadly, you played 60 minutes. That's why they still play 60 minutes. And it was, it kind of brings everyone back down to earth, pretty much in line with what a lot of us thought was going to happen. A loss that I don't think in any way you pin on Tebow. I think what actually is you found some other holes in this team, and they're on the other side of the ball, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we came into this game. There's been a lot of critics, obviously, of Tim Tebow. Here's a big chance for him to go against Tom Brady. And, Brady's polished. We know that. We saw that. And once again, first quarter, you're like, couldn't be more well scripted. You're excited about the way things are running. And then that second and third quarter, I don't know what it is, where I think we were surprised that we were actually out in front, but you're thinking, the perfect script to beat the Patriots. You had Brady on the field, and only once, but he burned Andre Goodman yet again. Goodman gets burned, but that's going to happen. But the key was you're establishing long drives. Broncos had like 2 long possessions in the first quarter, and you're like, this is just what we need to beat this team. But there were these little nuances like the Lonnie Paxton snap that's low. You miss that. You get the ball inside the territory. You're pursuing like crazy. It's 4th and 1. You don't go for it. Starts playing conservative. And this is just a team I don't think you can afford to play conservative. And then just Tom Brady, you got to give him credit, just lights up the Broncos. And before we talk about our thoughts about it, we're going to go right out to Danny early this week. And Danny's going to break down one of the worries we talked about in previous weeks and give you his thoughts on the game. Danny, it's all yours.
Well, fellas, here we are. It's kind of a... not an I told you so, but it's certainly something that we talked about last week right here on Bronco Planet. Going into this game with the Patriots, one of the biggest concerns, obviously, was the Patriot tight ends. Several times, if you're a student of the game, you kind of kept an eye on something other than just the play. The one thing that was very apparent is that Dan Gronkowski was getting double-teamed, trying to take him out of the equation. The Broncos did a pretty good job other than that one long 45-yard completion late in the fourth. But for the most part, the Broncos did a good job taking him out of the game plan. What they neglected was Aaron Hernandez. 129 yards and 1 trip to the house for Aaron Hernandez. Obviously a big difference maker for them. Another thing, obviously, you guys are going to be talking about this as well as taking care of the football. 3 fumbles from Denver, actually 4, but 3 that directly counted for 13 of the 41 points that the Patriots hung on the Broncos defense today. Going into this game, I kind of had this gut feeling if the Denver Bronco defense could hold New England to under 30 points, that the Broncos could potentially be in this game. But again, when you talk about turnovers and the Aaron Hernandez equalizer, that just pretty went. If you want to break it down to its most simplest forms, 3 big deals today. Sloppy play, dumb penalties, which we saw again today, and an ineffective Broncos offense that pretty much went into hiding during the second and third quarter. Now, it wasn't all bad. There is a few good things, and one of the biggest, brightest things in my mind today was the offensive play calling from Mike McCoy. Now, it's been no secret we've been browbeating Mike McCoy pretty much all year over the conservative offensive play calling, his predictability. It was nice to see him come out in the first quarter and actually stretch the field, which the Broncos haven't really done all year, and that's get up on somebody early. It was great, and in the process of doing that, opened up the run game. It was 140-plus rushing yards in the first quarter alone. There was also a lot of passing yards. It was very well balanced. It was nice to see. Hopefully Mike McCoy will take that little snippet of film of the first quarter and say, geez, I guess it does work. Geez, I guess we can maybe put it into next week's game plan. We'll have to see. I know you guys got a lot to talk about, so I'll throw it back to you there at Bronco Planet HQ. Join me Thursday as we'll take a peek at the Buffalo Bills coming up. Can't wait to talk to you again.
Well, great hearing from you there, Danny. Looking forward to seeing you on Thursday night. We got the Bills coming up on Christmas Eve, so hopefully we go into Christmas feeling good and nothing like what we feel right now. But I'm gonna stay positive right now, and I'm gonna talk for a minute about the glass half full, and then we'll give it to naysayer Carpenter here and let him talk about some of the things that didn't look so good. But the things that I was really excited about this team is, first of all, thank goodness the Detroit Lions come back and win with 39 seconds to go, gives the Broncos a little breathing room. This was counted a loss on my schedule long before even the streak started. So I think that's positive for the Broncos. And Tim Tebow, I still think he is really coming along. You think about a guy that had no off season, was as raw as anybody. And you heard Phil Simms, who, not my favorite of all announcers, but somebody that's kind of an expert. And I think he saw the development in Tim Tebow. And it wasn't Tim Tebow, certainly, that lost this game. Some other things were uncovered, which I think he'll talk about, kind of the naysayer side. I thought Wesley Woodyard played a great game. I think he had 6 tackles. And I have to give kudos to a guy that's not even on the Broncos team because I'm a Colorado guy, but Nate Solder out of Boulder just really handled Von Miller. Von Miller gets one hit behind the line of scrimmage, and that's actually the one Brady fumbles. Besides that, Von Miller, a non-factor, 1 tackle in this game, and nobody's been able to do that. And Nate wasn't even supposed to start the game. So I think some people on Facebook thought I was being really negative. I was just proud of the Colorado guy. I hate to see it come against my Broncos, but doing well in front of all his friends and teammates here in Colorado. So, the good news is I think what the Broncos have done well is played good against tough defensive teams, and that's a little bit surprising with Tebow. What they're really struggling against is teams that got good offense. So that's kind of my thoughts on the positive. I feel good. I think New England could be a team that I think you could beat if you played perfect ball and you controlled the ball and kept it out of Brady's hands. We were nowhere near that today, and you play Brady like that, you mess with fire, you get your fingers burnt.
Yeah, I mean, we had this debate earlier this afternoon when we talked about would you feel more comfortable seeing Chicago again or New England? And I couldn't believe that for a while you were saying New England. I was like, you're out of your mind. The thing that was exposed today, and the thing that has really interested me over this winning streak is all of the national media and all of the experts saying how great the defense is playing. And take a second, Shad, and look at the quarterbacks that were beaten during that streak. Matt Moore, Carson Palmer, whoever that day was playing in Kansas City, Mark Sanchez, Phillip Rivers, Christian Ponder, and Caleb Haney. Not one of those quarterbacks is going to the Pro Bowl, and not one of those likely is going to the playoffs. And was it great to get the winning streak and get on a roll? Absolutely. Has Tebow proven that more than likely he's the guy going forward? I suppose so.
Yes.
The issue really becomes when you get into the playoffs, can you stop a team that can score 40 points? And look at the 3 really good offenses that the Broncos have played this year. Green Bay, Detroit, and New England. And the Broncos didn't get a sniff in any of those 3 games.
Yeah.
And I guess if you want to be on your side and the glass half full, when you look at the playoff picture, Pittsburgh, not a great offense, great defense. Ravens, not a great offense, great defense. Texans,
in between.
Rookie quarterback in there, backup quarterback. Maybe if Denver can fight their way into the playoffs, which given the schedule they have, I think we all assume they can. Is it realistic that they can get through a game or 2? Yeah, I think maybe it is on the offense, which is what is shocking to everybody. But I guess what we saw today was just the lack of playmakers on the defensive side of the football. If you would have told Bronco fans going in that if you took Gronkowski and Welker and held them combined to less than 100 yards, I think we all think that's a win.
Yep.
And what was proven out there today is just not enough playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. Brady is so good back there. And you take away this guy and this option, well, then I'll hit, Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah, Hernandez lit him up, and you heard that from Danny earlier. I think the key, too, is when you play good teams, I think Denver's in good shape. I think they'll keep it close. I think they got enough players that I think the good teams are going to play and win most of them because of the Tebow factor. When you play great teams, you cannot make mistakes, and the turnovers were ridiculous today. Lance Ball, you're not only you turning over in your own area, you're giving it to Tom Brady. Then Tebow's doing a great job of not throwing interceptions, but he's fumbled like 3 or 4 times in the last few games. I mean, he got the one that should have been a safety, picked it up and threw it out of the end zone, but fumbled then. And then Quan Cosby with one of the worst games I've seen any Bronco have this season, taking the ball inside when he should have let it bounce to the end zone, fumbles, turnovers. Just, I don't know if he thought, hey, I'm going to be he must have woke up this morning and said, I'm going to be a superstar today. And it didn't matter where they were kicking it, he was going to take it and take his chance, and it was just a disaster.
But not just the turnover, Shad, but just some horrible penalties.
Yep.
You kick off to start the second half, and you're about to get Brady off of the field, third and forever, and you take a terrible penalty that Ayers took, and when you're playing, you know what? Maybe those plays you can beat Buffalo next week, and you can beat Kansas City. When you get into the playoffs, you can't make those plays. You've got to get Brady off of the field.
And, and Dawkins, although not great, in the secondary on covering passes, still, you see that raw rookie talent on the Broncos, or lack of today. And Quentin Carter, rough day, repeatedly missed tackles. And Raheem Moore, I hate to say it, folks, but he's already been benched and not even suited up for a game. He's missing tackles left and right. And then, when Brady got that touchdown, I'm sure he was a little like, spike this, hey, here, Tebow fans, you may want to remember me. I'm Tom Brady, by the way. And that's what he looked like when he spiked it. But, and there's Raheem Moore talking trash to Tom Brady. And I'm like, dude, you've been burned a lot this year. You can't even make a tackle. That is in your face.
You know why he's not very good?
Well, why is that?
Because he played for Neuheisel.
Well, that could be the factor.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I wouldn't argue with that.
Tell me I'm wrong, Neuheisel.
Well, let's talk about winning for a second, because still Tebow, 7-2 as a starter, and we actually ran into Ryan, I want to get the name right, Cosdell. Is that right?
Crosdell.
Okay. Ryan.
Hopefully.
And so Ryan's out there at the parking lot just enjoying a great day, and ran into our Bronco Planet crew out there and had this great Tebow shirt here. It says winning, not the Charlie Sheen type winning, but number 15. Isn't that nice looking and thick too? Perfect for winter. And you Tebow fans are going to love this on the back. So look at that bad boy. So all you got to do to win this shirt there from Ryan is very simple. All you got to do is go on to Facebook, make sure you're signed up to Bronco Planet, and if you're not, if you sign up a friend, we'll see it during the week, and you're into the drawing for this great Tebow winning shirt. So, and if you want to buy one of these, what we'll do at the end of the show, we'll go ahead and put Ryan's email out there, and everybody can just, it's like, I don't know what it's going to charge at the stadium. It was $20. I don't know from the mail if it's better, but are you kidding me? This is a great shirt for $20. So, Ryan, thanks for thinking of the fans. So, real quick, we got Buffalo. You're starting to see this whole thing come together. What do you think for the remainder of the season? The Broncos going to the playoffs or not?
Well, it's in a position now where if you're serious, if this team is a contender, Buffalo and Kansas City are games you win, right? If you go into Buffalo, and I get that it's travel, and I get that it's an East Coast and an earlier start than you're used to, if you walk out of Orchard Park with a loss, then this team is not ready for prime time. And what's scary is you look at what San Diego's doing this weekend, and that's a team that typically got off to a quick start, folded like a cheap tent towards the end of the season. If they flip the switch this year and Phillip Rivers gets them going, that's a team that may be able to do some damage. So Broncos have got to take care of their own business. Don't rely on anybody else. Finish up at 10-6, and then just see where the cards fall.
Yeah, I agree. They've been on this win streak, and now they got a little bit of a buzzkill here with the Patriots today. So now it's like, how do they respond? Do they step up, or do they start saying, hey, start doubting themselves? Yeah. We're not that good. But, you got to avoid the turnovers, which they did so good during that 7-game streak that I think really helps them. So the Broncos don't turn the ball over. They control the clock. I think Tebow's coming along great. And Von Miller will be back. He's not going to be held down for too many games. But, rough day for the Broncos defense and Dennis Allen. A better day for McCoy, but still, we got to get some wins. And it's who's winning, like you say, right at the end. But what a squirrely day in the NFL today with all the great teams. Green Bay lost. The Giants lost today. San Francisco
not only lost, but how they lost and who they lost to. And that just proves, once again, the NFL is the greatest thing around, right? Because everyone was filling in the Arrowhead today thinking, we're going to get crushed. And you know what? As it turns out, in the long run, Green Bay losing may be the best thing for them. Maybe you take all that pressure of going undefeated, and you kind of get some guys, get Jennings, and they had some injuries on the offensive line. You take a couple weeks and get those guys healthy, and you know what? That's still the best team in football right now.
Yes, no doubt about that. And the interesting thing playing out for Bronco fans is Kyle Orton will come to town against the Chiefs and could take the Broncos out of the playoffs. Yeah. So just when you think Mr. Boring Orton's out of the picture, who knows? He may be in Denver. So a lot to come. Anyway, we'll catch you here, Danny, on Thursday, and then we'll have a show on the 26th. Even though the Broncos play on Christmas Eve, it's very doubtful we'll have something Christmas morning. We want you all to be hanging out with your family and ripping into those gifts from Santa Claus. And then
Send me cool stuff.
We'll catch you on the 26th. So hope you guys are doing great. You know what? We're staying positive here. Some good things are going to happen, but no turnovers. Control the penalties, and I promise you good things are going to happen. We'll catch you next week. Have a great one right here on Bronco Planet.
Merry Christmas.